Unhappily Married, part two of a 10-part lesson about family. Now, when two people get married, many couples don't factor in each other's families and how families will have an impact on their relationship. Married couples can struggle with their identity. They want to make their families happy while trying to balance the bond of a marital relationship. And this can cause division and strife in a marriage where they can struggle to stay married and have a desire to want to get out of that marriage because they're unhappily married. Families have come between this relationship. What do they do? How do they have the right temperament to deal with these problems? The Bible states that what God has joined together, let no one separate. Man is supposed to leave his mother and father and be united with his wife. And the two should become one flesh, to be perfectly bonded and connected through God's plan and through God's will and for God's purpose. And when a marriage gets out of kilter and they allow their families to get involved, their families to dictate where they spend their time and holidays, where they should live, how they should dress, what they should eat, how many kids they should have, and all sorts of things that families can get involved in. This is not what God wants out of this marital relationship. How many marriages have struggled and failed because of their families? Their families tearing apart these relationships. And they're causing so much division that now that relationship is beginning to crumble. What does God want you to do? Are you going to follow the patterns of this world and allow families to rip apart this perfect united bond? Or will you allow God to work in your life? Obey his commands, his teachings, and follow him all the days of your life. The time is right now to understand the high degree of a marital connection, to be happily married. But the happy that I'm referring to is doing the will of God, to be content in your marriage. The world's form of happiness can cause a bunch of problems. People are wanting to be happy in their marriages. And there are times where you hear people may respond that I'm happily married, and they're proud to be happily married. But you don't find a lot of married couples talking in this fashion. They may say that they're married, they may wear their wedding rings to signify this marriage, but they're not outwardly expressing that they're happily married. God wants you to be married by his design, by his will, by his way, and not the ways of this world to look for happiness. How many people are getting a divorce while they're using the word or the words that they're unhappy? I'm unhappy in this marriage, so therefore I'm going to get a divorce, shattering what God has established a man and woman to be in a relationship. The time is right now to get your marriage on the right track, to know the purpose and the design that God created for marriage, and know that your marriage can last through the times and through the distance, through the journey, for that marriage to live in the hope through faith and obedience for everlasting life. Seek God, seek his will, seek his ways through his son, and get to heaven for your children, your grandchildren, and your families to follow that pattern for everlasting life.